Hi, I'm John Maxwell. When the top companies in the world are looking for trainers, speakers, and coaches, there's one name that stands above the rest, and that's Maxwell Leadership. Our certified team members have gotten proven results for companies all over the globe, and our reputation, I'm proud to say, is second to none. Some of our members have risen to the top of their profession, including the one you're going to meet today. I proudly introduce you to my friend Bob Fabian Zinka.
Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If you need to develop into a better leader, this podcast is for you. If you want to achieve a greater level of success, this podcast is for you. His mentor, Dr. John C. Maxwell, said it best: everything rises and falls on leadership. We hope to inspire you today and provide you with an insight that has the potential to positively impact the trajectory of your life. Welcome to the Leadership and Success Podcast.
Imagine gaining the leadership skills that could redefine your career. Join Coach BZ on the Leadership and Success Podcast, where each episode delivers practical insights from world-class speakers, military leaders, and industry experts. We dive deep into what matters most: building resilient teams, leading through uncertainty, and navigating complexity with clarity and confidence. Every conversation is crafted for aspiring leaders like you who are ready to grow, lead, and make a lasting impact. Don't miss our powerful live sessions and recent highlights. Michelle Hayward on building diverse, high-performing technical teams. Ann Leslie on leading through global complexity and cybersecurity risk. Ron Carpenter AI exploring faith, resilience, and AI-powered leadership. Colonel Michelle G.I. Gardner-Ince on commanding influence from the battlefield to the boardroom. Chris Robinson on shifting from drift to drive in life and leadership. And Coach Enrique Acosta Gonzalez on mentorship, legacy, and heart-centered leadership. Ready to level up your leadership journey? Tune in on Spotify, Apple, Audible Podcasts, YouTube Live, and LinkedIn Live. Join the movement toward leadership excellence. Listen now and start transforming your success.
The greatest investment I've made into myself was just taking a chance on my education.
Yes.
Learning, and continuously getting into different fields, whether it's learning how to successfully start a business, learning how to start a nonprofit to help others, or learning how to boost my career by getting into AI, cloud. That's been
That's
the
awesome.
biggest and best investment I've done for myself.
I love that. And my godfather used to tell me that education, nobody can ever take that away from you. And education is not just going to school. Like my grandparents, they went to school and they learned, and then they never had to open another book in their life. But today, you have to open a book almost every single day. Keep on learning, right? And
It
nobody
changes,
can
absolutely.
ever take that away from you. Wow, that is powerful. And another thing I'm going to add, I'm glad you're learning how to run a business, a nonprofit, and all of that. That is really wonderful because it helps you become a more complete, I guess, being where you have a lot of skill that can all come together to allow you to be even more successful. I don't know if I ever told you this, but I was just 17 years old. I moved to the US, and I really don't know where that came from, but I had this idea. I was like, in the late 90s, I was like, in the next century, I believe three skills are going to be extremely important. One of them I felt like was leadership. You have to learn how to lead.
How do you feel? How is your MBA important in your life today?
Okay.
As
a future chief information security officer, it's not a requirement, but I think it's important. When I first started getting into cybersecurity about 20 years ago, we used to kind of work in silos, right? You have the IT function, cybersecurity function, so everybody was like their own little kingdom. But the truth is, if you're going to lead the cybersecurity function, if you're going to be the chief information security officer, you need not only to learn about technology, but you need to be a leader, a business leader. What your organization is a business with a mission. You need to help the business accomplish the mission. I don't know about you, but when I first started in cyber again 20, 15 years ago, we used to be known as the Department of No. No, can't do it, too risky. No, can't do it. But the truth is, as a cybersecurity function, your job is not to say no, but to find a way to say yes. So
That's me.
understand what the risk, the actual directive from the DoD is written black and white. That's one thing I learned when I went to bootcamp. Do you remember that big red notebook we had at bootcamp that had everything, how to make your bed, how to use the restroom, how to do
Yes, I
everything?
remember.
So I'm like,
Yes.
there is somewhere a writing, there is a document, a manual, a directive, a policy that's written black and white that tells you exactly what to do. So
What
I
is
would go back to the policy and go back to the NRC or to my command and say, okay, here it is. It's written. This is what the Navy says. This is what the DoD says. This is what the Joint Travel Regulation says. This is the right way. And then
Wow.
they cannot come back to you, right? They cannot say no, it doesn't exist because it's written down. It
You
is
show
signed
them.
by the Secretary of Navy or the Secretary of Defense or by the President or whatever. So there is something written down, and you need to find it, and then you need to say, okay, this is the rules. Now, just judge me by those rules. Now, if I don't pass, I don't pass. But you need to give me your opportunity to earn that clearance, and they did. No, like I say, the rest is history. But anyway, that's a very, very great lessons I have really learned. So it's really been a great joy to talk to you. Any last
Thank you, sir.
word
Same here.
before we leave?
No, sir, nothing but I just learned from you today that no, you have two masters.
Welcome back, everyone, to another round of Spirited Leadership Dialogue. Today, we're diving deep into a journey that spans humble beginnings to the apex of cybersecurity leadership. Franklin and Ndeffo's inspirational story.
Absolutely. It's fascinating how Franklin's path from a small town in Cameroon all the way to the Pentagon and beyond paints such a vivid picture of grit and determination.
Right. What really stands out is how his qualities, respect and dedication, were cultivated from his early days in Samba, Cameroon, where his community laid the groundwork for his future. It's like you start with a solid foundation, and each setback just builds you up further.
And I love how his journey, despite cultural barriers and financial hardships, reminds us that true leadership isn't about the title you hold, but the influence you exert, right?
Exactly. And speaking of influence, consider what he said. If you can influence one person, you are a leader. That's a powerful takeaway, especially for folks who feel like imposter syndrome might be holding them back.
Absolutely. It's a call to action, really. Lead by example, no matter where you are. Now, he didn't just stop at inspiring words. He took his passion into the Navy, starting out as an aviation mechanic due to visa issues before plunging headfirst into cybersecurity once he became a citizen. That determination is truly awe-inspiring.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's the aspect of repeated failure turned into success. He applied for officer commission not just once, but 3 times until he finally said yes. That, my friend, is what I call fail forward.
It makes you think every no really is just a stepping stone to refining who you are as a leader. Do you think that kind of perseverance is one of the main traits that sets apart great leaders?
Oh, absolutely. Franklin's story teaches us that failure is not a dead end. Instead, failure is like that rough training ground where you remold yourself. You learn more from every setback than even from a million successes.
Right on. And then there's the way he channels humility through mentorship. He credits a lot of his growth to mentors who guided him. It's like, having someone by your side can multiply your force, both in military settings and in tech leadership.
Right, mentorship really is a leadership force multiplier. Imagine, a mentor helps you recognize the unknown unknowns and bridges gaps that would otherwise hold you back. That resonates deeply with anyone trying to climb that leadership ladder.
Speaking of climbing ladders, Franklin didn't stop at joining the Navy. He went on to earn advanced degrees, certifications like CISM, and soared into roles at the Pentagon, and now as a cybersecurity manager overseeing a sizable team. That evolution is remarkable.
Yeah. His shift from serving as an enlisted sailor to being poised for roles like CISO is a blueprint for how determination meets opportunity. His story shows that it's not just about technical prowess, it's also a lesson in servant leadership
Exactly.
and, well, heart.
And isn't it interesting how he integrates faith, family, and focus into his leadership? It's like his personal mantra, discipline and prayer, anchored by the support of his wife, peace, which truly is heartening.
Oh, totally. That blend of resilience, grounded in personal values, is what makes his approach sustainable in a high stakes environment. It's not just about the job, it's about who you are as a person and how that shapes the lives around you.
Sure thing. Now, there's also a strong message he delivers about respect, respect across all facets of life. How do you think that plays into leadership in today's complex tech and military arenas?
Respect really is the key that opens doors, as he puts it. It isn't simply knowing your rank or title, it's about for real valuing every individual regardless of background. It's like the secret sauce in leadership that ensures trust and authentic connection.
Right. And that's crucial when you're leading teams in diverse and sometimes volatile environments like cybersecurity or military operations where trust is everything.
Exactly. And then there's the idea that leadership is an ongoing journey of mentorship and continuously learning. His story, paired with his challenges, like re-earning his degree and constantly perfecting his leadership package, tells us that the journey never really stops.
It almost makes you think of leadership like a marathon rather than a sprint, doesn't it? And the idea that every challenge is just another mile to build endurance and character.
Yeah, it's like every setback is just fuel for the next phase of your journey. And that mindset is what every aspiring leader should embrace.
Absolutely. I also noticed how his journey calls for accountability in every decision, especially when it comes to those growing roles in cybersecurity, overseeing critical budgets, and risk management. That's a lesson in both technical acumen and emotional leadership.
Right. Accountability is non-negotiable when you're handling something as sensitive as cybersecurity or national defense. His progression shows that even when you're working behind high-tech systems, the human element, ethics, responsibility, and care for others, remains at the forefront.
Exactly. And as we talk about continuous learning, it's striking how he emphasizes obtaining certifications and advanced degrees to level up his expertise. It's a call to all of us. Never stop learning, remain curious, and be ready to adapt no matter how steep the climb might seem.
Absolutely. That idea of never settling is empowering. It's almost like saying, the door might close, but if you're dedicated and respectful, you'll keep finding ways to open new ones.
True that. Now, some folks might argue that constantly reapplying for officer commissions, for instance, sounds like wasting time. How would you respectfully challenge that view?
Well, I'd say it's not about wasting time at all. It's about refining your approach and proving your resolve. Each attempt was a learning experience that, over time, built the strong, resilient leader we see today.
Right.
It's a testimonial to persistence.
That's a great perspective, and it shows that the path to leadership is rarely smooth, but the bumps shape us into better decision makers and mentors.
Exactly. And that brings us to the final lesson, legacy. Franklin isn't just preparing to lead in the cybersecurity space. He's on course to transform the future leadership landscape by mentoring others and building a mission-first team culture.
Yeah, I love that. It's like his journey is a roadmap for anyone, be it enlisted sailors, tech analysts, or civilian leaders, reminding them to start where they are, lead with heart, and always keep learning.
Absolutely. And his story isn't just inspirational. It lays out clear, actionable principles, be it no settling, fostering respect, mentoring generously, and failing forward. These lessons are universal, whether you're in the military, tech, or any other field.
Yep, exactly. Now, I'm curious, if you had to pick just one takeaway for someone listening right now, what would it be?
Honestly, it's that leadership is achieved through unwavering commitment to influence others by leading with integrity and service. No title can replace the power of respect, continuous learning, and the courage to fail forward.
Right, absolutely. Perfectly said. And that, my friend, is the kind of leadership that not only drives success, but also creates lasting impact.
Exactly. So, for all our listeners out there, whether you're stepping into leadership for the first time or transforming an existing role, remember this journey. It's about rising with resilience, anchoring yourself in your values, and striving to uplift those around you.
Indeed, yes. Thanks for this enlightening conversation. Franklin's story is a beacon that reminds us that every challenge is an opportunity, and every step, no matter how small, moves us forward.
Absolutely. And thank you all for tuning in. Stay curious, keep learning, and lead with heart. Till next time, keep that spirit alive and empowered.
The actual directive from the DoD is written black and white. That's one thing I learned when I went to bootcamp. Do you remember that big red notebook we had at bootcamp that had everything, how to make your bed, how to use the restroom, how to do
Yes, I
everything?
remember.
So I'm like,
Yes,
there is somewhere a writing, there is a document, a manual, a directive, a policy that's written black and white that tells you exactly what to do. So I would go back to the policy and go back to the NRC or to my command and say, okay, here it is. It's written. This is what the Navy says. This is what the DoD says. This is what the Joint Travel Regulation says. This is the right way. And then
wow,
they cannot come back to you, right? They cannot say, no, it doesn't exist because it's written down. It
it
is signed
shouldn't.
by the Secretary of Navy or Secretary of Defense or by the President or whatever. So there is something written down and you need to find it. And then you need to say, okay, this is the rules. Now, just judge me by those rules. Now, if I don't pass, I don't pass. But you need to give me the opportunity to earn that clearance. And they did, no? Like I say, the rest is history. But anyway, that's a very, very great lessons I have really learned. So it's really been a great joy to talk to you. Any last
Thank you, sir.
word
Same here.
before we leave?
No, sir, nothing but I just learned from you today that you have two masters. I would be an officer. I am today, and since like the day I set foot into the U.S. Navy, interacting with some leaders, and saw what being a leader was, and saw how a leader can impact a sailor's life. I said I will be that person. It doesn't matter what it takes. It doesn't matter how much time, sweat, blood it takes. I will be that person.
Mm.
I started in 2017. Yes, it happens in 2025, but it was a goal. I said I was doing it and I had to do it. Same with
Wow.
me becoming a CISO. I would be a CISO. Someone will give me a chance because every time I have a no as an answer, I will better myself, I will learn, and I will even get hands-on experience in
Mhm.
virtual rooms, VMwares and
Yes.
learning what I need to do as a CISO. I
Yes.
will learn and be ready for the next opportunity because
Wow.
that's what I set my mind to.
Now, there is another book, Think and Grow Rich. I don't know if I've talked to you about that yet, but that's one book I read every single year. Have you heard of Think and Grow
I,
Rich by Napoleon Hill?
I have it over there. Yes,
Okay,
Napoleon
okay,
Hill.
very good, very good. That's one book that helped me a lot. I read it every single year, talking about.
Thank you for listening to the Leadership and Success Podcast with your host, Coach BZ. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to our channels and come back for more wisdom nuggets on how you may develop into a better leader and achieve greater levels of success. Leadership is the most critical skill. The world will always need leaders to lead others, deploy the next disruptive technology, or execute a business strategy. You may as well decide on counting yourself among the 21st century leaders. See you right here next time on the Leadership and Success Podcast with Coach BZ.